Hello, and welcome to an alternate version of our Let's Play of Lamplight City. So, I had a feeling that our first case didn't go so well, so I went through and I actually looked at a walkthrough and I feel like I missed something, because we shouldn't have objectives last and all that. And I found out we made a terrible mistake. I'm going to keep the other Let's Play going, but I wanted to show you guys the alternate way, well, it could have been Juliet, but here's how it also could have happened. So we're going to play a little bit faster here, just because I want to get through it for you. But if we go back to Dupre Manor, we're going to go and talk to the cook in the kitchen. And stupid me, it's a big trope, right? Hold on one second. Music is a bit loud. Sound is a bit loud. Okay, there we go. So we talked to her before and she didn't want to talk to us.
Pardon me, miss.
I told you I'm very busy, and I'll get in trouble if I'm caught speaking to you.
And, we never went back.
Amelie, please. I need to know what you know about Madame Dupre.
What? How did you know my name?
Juliet told me about you.
Miss Juliet?
Yes, I spoke to her at the university. She mentioned you two were friends.
Yes, that's right. She's always been so good to me.
Look, Amelie, I'm just trying to get some information, and I have a feeling you can be very helpful if you just let me talk to you.
All right, fine. But do it as fast as you can.
Tell me about Madame Dupre.
Oh, I really shouldn't, sir.
It would greatly help my investigation if you did.
Madame Dupre was kind enough to hire me as her cook. It's hard to get jobs in the city. Lots of people want their servants to use those new machines. My sister's brother-in-law got half his leg blown off by one of those new ovens. He's lucky he wasn't killed. So I'm plenty happy working here doing real people's work. But Madam can be difficult sometimes.
Difficult? What do you mean by that?
No, I said enough.
What do you know about Madame Dupre's supposed death?
All I can tell you is that whoever did it really hated her.
Do you know Albert Martin, the man accused of the crime?
No, I'm sorry.
What can you tell me about Andrew?
He ain't so bad. Kinda spoiled, but he mostly cleans up after himself. Has a whole private part of the house, but I think he only uses one room. Better for me, way less to clean.
What do you know about Juliet?
She was always so kind to me and the others, but her mother don't like that one bit. Still, she sneaks down into the kitchen to keep me company some nights. Even though she's a good soul, I think part of her does it just to spite her mother.
Anything you can tell me about Jean?
I hardly ever see him, only at dinner. He's scared of Madam, and so he finds any reason to get out of the house and stay away as long as he can.
Scared of her?
Oh, it's true. You should see him when they're in private, like a shamed puppy that dirtied the carpet.
Interesting.
Do you have any idea why Jean is so afraid of Madame Dupre?
If he's seen the same things we have, then yes.
What kind of things?
No, I spoke out of turn. Forget I said anything.
Amelie, listen to me. A potentially innocent man's life is on the line. If I don't find out who attacked Madame Dupre, he's as good as dead. So if there are any facts or details you know that I don't, you need to tell me.
I can't.
You can. I'm not with the police. If Madame Dupre did something wrong, I'm not going to look the other way. Trust me, I'm on your side.
Madam beats the servants. I think she even does it for fun. I hear the screams sometimes. I don't know how anyone else in the family doesn't. Maybe they do and just ignore it, I don't know. But if Mr. Dupre knows what she do, it explains why he's so scared of her.
Did Madame Dupre ever abuse you?
No, I was lucky, but some of the others weren't.
Like who? I need details, Amelie.
The old gardener, Guy Dumas, and one of the maids, Celine. I saw Madame going after them the most. Don't know what they did to deserve it, but I would see her walk by in a rage, whip in one hand and a book in the other.
A book? What book?
Oh, I don't know. I can't read, so I don't know what it said on the cover. But it's the same color as the stew spice I always use. Don't know what she used it for, but she always had it with her, just before a beating.
Maybe she'd recite them some of her terrible poetry. I'm sure that was torture enough.
I love these references. Just like a bogon.
Tell me more about Guy and Celine.
They were deeply in love with each other. I used to hear them talk about how they wanted to run away together.
What happened to them?
I don't know. One day they were here, and then one day they weren't.
Do you think Madame Dupre may have done something to them?
I couldn't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if she had. Please, let's not talk about this anymore.
Are you the only remaining servant here?
No, there's another one, Marcel. He's the new gardener. I haven't seen him in a few days, though. Not since before Madame's incident.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now please, let me get back to work.
So, there's a big clue that we missed.
Looks like the type of spices you'd use in a stew. Most likely paprika or turmeric. Nice variety of reds and oranges.
Now we need to find that book.
Well, this should be the book Amelie mentioned. Well, what have we here?
Oh my.
A whip, and it has dried blood on it. How ghastly.
This house is just full of secrets, isn't it?
Look at that. Alright. So the source of Julia and her mother's rift. Speak to Jean Dupre.
Hello?
Strange.
Let's see if Jean...
Not very much.
Alright, so now we find out about Juliet.
One of the guns is...
Here he comes.
Who the hell are you? What do you...
Jean Dupre?
Yes.
Miles Fordham.
Oh, yeah. Forgive my rude...
Perfectly un...
This is a man who's...
Alright, let's talk to him again.
Can we talk, Mr...
I suppose...
What can you tell me about...
Oh, my dear...
Yes. How long?
For...
Lord, does it...
You'll pardon...
Excuse...
A fellow... Your wife...
Yep, just skipping through
With
this.
all the... I just need...
There's some...
Do you know any...
Horrible...
Do you have any...
Mr. Martin? Andrews, you only... I'd have...
Yeah, right.
I suppose it goes...
Yes, it's not...
What about...
Trust me. I've been...
Yeah.
What can you...
Ah,
Yeah,
What-
we
it's...
know all
I got-
this.
Well, but not to me.
Excuse...
And I know we need to get through this. Alright.
Do you fear your wife, Mr. Dupre?
Do I... What?
The question's quite simple. Are you afraid of Madame Dupre?
Why in the easy would you think that?
I'd be afraid of someone who kept a bloody whip in my bedroom. Care to explain that?
I... You don't know her like I do. No one does. Well, no one aside from the servants, I suppose. She's cruel, Mr. Fordham. Crueler than anyone or anything I've ever seen.
Tell me more about Madame Dupre's
Now we're
cruelty.
getting somewhere.
She treats the servants like animals, Mr. Fordham. She would say the most vile, awful things to them. Things I would expect to hear on the Gascon docks, not from the lips of a grande dame. And the beatings. Oh, God. The screams I would hear from somewhere in the house. I never dared find out where.
Nobody else ever heard the screaming?
No. She was cunning. She would do it when no one else was around. Once she knew I had heard, she threatened me. Told me she would...
Yes?
She threatened to expose my secret, Mr. Fordham.
And what secret is that?
Our marriage is one of convenience. It's all for show. Laura has herself a well-to-do husband, and I am a normal man in the eyes of society.
I see. I suppose that would explain a few things.
Well, now, how was that not obvious to you? The soporific is really having a bad effect on you.
Don't worry, Mr. Dupre. Your secret's safe with me.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Tell me what you know about Guy Dumas and Celine.
Celine had an accident.
What kind of accident?
Laura thought Celine had been stealing her silverware. She got a bit carried away with a beating, and...
Dupre killed Celine?
Yes, she did. In order to keep it quiet, she had Celine placed in our family tomb.
I see. What about Guy?
I don't know. I never saw him again after that.
Well, this case has certainly taken a turn for the sinister.
So we're gonna have to go back to the tomb.
Do you know anything about Madame Dupre trying to get Julie?
Ah, yes. I wrote.
That's very good.
Yes.
Yet, he seems perfect.
I'll be going.
Au revoir.
Alright, so now let's go back to the tomb.
This must be what was going to be...
I don't see any.
What?
No, but I was. Dale Chester.
These crypts are...
There are only 3 left.
Then let's hope the chest... These crypts...
There are only.
Then let's...
Douglas Chester. Sarah Chesterton. Celine.
Wait a minute. This is Celine, the maid.
Aha!
Somehow a piece of paper got wedged into the side of the vault. Carefully now. Got it! Nice work, Fordham. Now to see what this is.
She will
Interesting.
pay for what she did.
Leaving
to
notes
you,
for the
my love.
dead. How very touching. I wonder if anyone has left me one at my grave.
Quiet, Bill. I need to think. We know this note is likely from Guy. Now we just need to figure out where to find him.
Is there anything on the other side of that piece of paper?
Bill, you're a genius.
I wouldn't give me all the credit just yet.
Let's see. A receipt for an extended stay at the Stun Arms. Does that sound familiar at all?
Vaguely. But I can't recall anything off the top of my head.
Looks like we'll have to do a bit more searching.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Hello again.
Hello,
Do you know Guy Dumas?
Yes, he was one of our servants. He used to enjoy reading my books, as well as Andrew's.
When did you see him last?
Just last week, he came by to see me and asked to borrow some books.
Do you know where I might be able to find him?
Not really. I get the impression that he moves around frequently. But I can tell him you're looking for him next time I see him, if you like.
Please do. Although hopefully I'll be able to find him before then. Were you friends with Celine, the maid?
Yes, I was quite fond of Celine. She was so sweet and interesting to talk to. One day, she just left the house with no explanation. Mother said it was because she had found work elsewhere. I was terribly saddened. I wish I'd had the chance to say goodbye to her, at least. What's your interest in her?
Oh, I was just curious, that's all. I found this note from Guy at your mother's family tomb.
At the tomb? Why would he leave a note there?
It's for Celine. She's been interred there.
She's dead? Oh God, that's terrible. What happened to her? And why would she be in our family tomb?
That isn't for me to say. You'll have to ask your stepfather. In any case, this note was written on a hotel receipt. I'm trying to find where it came from, but the name is only partially legible.
I can't say it rings any bells. I'm sorry, Mr. Fordham.
Did your mother try to get you? What?
Mother,
But
yeah,
no more questions.
then if...
Alright.
Fordham, are you... Madame Dupre has been interfering with Juliet's stuff, plus the information in Juliet's notes about it's enough...
So she's our suspect, and we wrongfully accused her before. We're not gonna do that piece. So I think the next person to talk to is going back to Sean.
I found this note in the Chesterton tomb. I suspect it was left by Guy.
So he's still alive.
Apparently so, and staying at a hotel somewhere, judging from this receipt the note was written on. As you can see, the name is only partially legible. Do you know where the Stun Arms might be?
I'm afraid not. Sorry.
I'll be going now. Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I found this note in the Chesterton tomb. I think it was left by the person who attacked Madame Dupre.
Nice work. Sounds like you're about ready to wrap things up.
I will be as soon as I find him. Take a look at the other side of it.
Part of a receipt for a hotel?
Yes, the name is only partially visible at the bottom.
Sorry for the loudness.
Stun Arms. The only hotel that comes to mind is the Boston Arms in Chumley.
Of course! I knew the name sounded familiar. Ah, the stories I could tell you about that place. Not right now.
You're helpful as always, Upton. Thank you.
Good luck, Fordham. I hope you find your suspect.
Who is it?
Mr. Dumas, listen to me. I don't want to make this into more of an issue than it should be, but I believe it's in your best interest to let me in so I can speak with you.
Just a moment.
I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator. It's extremely important I speak with you, Mr. Dumas.
What do you want?
Just to talk. May I come in?
Yes, I suppose so.
I found your note in St. Denis Cemetery. Care to explain what it means?
How did you...
I'm a private investigator, Mr. Dumas. That's what I do. Now we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. It's up to you.
I left that note for Celine. I didn't think anyone would ever find it.
So it was you who attacked Madame Dupre?
Yes. Yes, it was me. I confess.
I can't remember the last time a suspect actually confessed. If only they were all like this.
But please, Mr. Fordham, you have to understand. The woman is evil. If only you knew what she did. Please, don't arrest me, Mr. Fordham. You have to know the truth about Madame Dupre.
Relax, Mr. Dumas. I'm not going to arrest you just yet. I'm perfectly willing to hear your side of the story. Now let's take this nice and slow. What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
She seemed like a nice woman at first, but after working for her, I came to know how awful she truly was. When no one was around, she would beat me and some of the other servants for fun, say the most cruel things, call us horrible names.
Why didn't you just leave?
She threatened us, told us she would make it impossible for us to get work anywhere else. It's already difficult enough getting a job that doesn't force you to operate those awful machines. To be blacklisted by Madame Dupre would have been the final nail in the coffin.
How did you come to be employed by Madame Dupre?
I used to work in an iron factory in Chomley, but a few years ago, they brought in some steam machines to help production. One of the machines had a problem, and my friend Connor and I were assigned to fix it. We had no idea what we were doing, but we wanted to keep our jobs. I don't know what happened, but the next thing I knew, Connor was dead, and I was badly hurt. I swore never to go near one of those machines again. After I got better, I spent a few months looking for work, but it was impossible to find any jobs that didn't involve steam tech. Then I found out about Madame Dupre. Working at her home seemed like an improvement. I had a decent bed to sleep in. The work was not difficult, and I even made friends with her daughter. But Madame Dupre soon showed her true nature.
Tell me about Celine.
Oh, my dear Celine. She was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. We were going to get married, you know. Then that devil killed her. She beat her to death in front of me. I was powerless to do anything. Please, Mr. Fordham, I don't want to remember. Let us speak of something else.
Do you know Albert Martin?
No. Who is that?
He's Juliet's lover, falsely accused of the crime you committed.
I had no idea.
Are you going to let an innocent man die because of what you did?
No, of course not. I suppose things got out of hand. It was not my intention for someone else to take the blame for my actions.
So why did you attack Madame Dupre in the way you did?
I knew that if I went to her home and killed her, I would be caught and thrown in jail. I needed to find a way to do it quietly and not make anyone suspicious. Also, I wanted her to suffer for what she did to my Celine. I had read about toxic plants in Juliet's schoolbooks, and I knew a bit about them from working as a gardener. So I decided to poison Dupre and make her appear dead so she could be buried alive and suffer the same way she made us when she would lock us away in her secret room.
Did you say secret room?
Yes, Mr. Fordham. It was no bigger than a coffin. She would place us inside if she was especially mad at us, with no food or water, sometimes for days at a time. We couldn't scream because she would stuff our mouths. She would also plug our ears and cover our faces.
How often did she put you in there?
Only a few times, but that was more than enough. I'd rather not think about it.
So you have no idea where it is?
None. I only remember Madame Dupre would say the same thing any time she was about to put someone in there. A perfect servant must behave. I've told you everything, Mr. Fordham. Are you still going to arrest me?
I haven't quite decided yet, Mr. Dumas. If I can find this secret room, It would be enough to charge Madame Dupre with a crime. However, if you haven't been telling me the truth...
I have been, Mr. Fordham. I swear it. I'll even make you a deal. If you promise me you'll try to find the secret room, I won't leave this hotel.
All right, Dumas, it's a deal.
Well, at least now we can go straight to Upton and have him taken in. Unless you really do believe him about the secret room.
That's all for right now, but I'll be back.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
Secret room. Same passage. Parrot.
A perfect servant must behave.
And now you'll taste an early grave. Me sofa, Ray. In the middle, see?
So long, Birdie.
Bye-bye.
Go to the harpsichord. So we need to go E, G, F, A.
That seems to have done something.
Dear God!
Oh my.
This does not look good. He's dead. You should inform Dr. Fellows about this right away.
It seems Guy was telling the truth after all.
Yes, it would probably be a good idea to let him know of this development.
Guy?
Yes?
I found the secret room you told me about.
You see? I wasn't lying.
No, you certainly weren't. There was someone inside. A man.
No. Who?
I'm not sure, but I can only assume it was one of Madame Dupre's servants.
Was he all right?
I'm afraid not. He was dead. Dr. Fellows confirmed it was due to asphyxiation.
Madame Dupre must have put him in there before I drugged her. And then, with everything that's happened, she didn't let him out in time. Oh my God. It's my fault he's dead. If only I'd known.
The circumstances are quite unfortunate, Mr. Dumas. However, this has shed a new light on Madame Dupre and her cruel practices. I can't say for certain that you were justified in your actions, but I am a bit reluctant to say you were completely at fault. But the bottom fact is that Mr. Martin has been falsely accused of this crime. If I were to let you go, he would be punished in your place. Unless...
Yes?
I'm going to need you to write me a letter, Mr. Dumas.
Of course, Mr. Fordham. Anything to take care of this mess.
Good. Hopefully now this whole grim affair can be brought to an end.
Ooh, what's the letter?
That's all for right now, but I'll be back.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
Ah, so we have two suspects. What's the document? I, Guy Dumas, of Sun, Mind, and Body, hereby confess to the attempted murder of Madame Laura Dupre. Alright, so let's go to Upton. Let's take care of this mess once and for all. The right way.
I think I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
We are going to acquit him. If we hadn't gone back to talk to him, we would have only had to condemn.
It was Guy Dumas, a former servant at Dupre Manor. He used toxic plants to drug Madame Dupre so she appeared dead, which he learned about from her daughter's schoolbooks.
What was his motive?
That's the thing. I've learned that Madame Dupre is extremely cruel to her servants. She regularly beats them, and even has a secret room no bigger than a coffin where she places them as punishment. I discovered this secret room and found a dead servant inside. He had died from asphyxiation.
My God.
A few months ago, Madame Dupre beat Guy's lover Celine to death. He wanted revenge, and intended to make Madame Dupre suffer the trauma of being interred alive.
I see.
Constance, I don't think Dumas should be arrested for his crime. He doesn't deserve it. Madame Dupre, however...
Yes, I see what you're saying, and I agree, but what about Mr. Martin?
I got a signed confession from Mr. Dumas. You can see the handwriting matches this note I found in the cemetery. That should be enough to release Mr. Martin, as well as giving Guy a head start in his escape from the city.
It's gonna be tricky getting the department to look into this, but with the proof you've gathered, it should work. Excellent investigating, Fordham. I knew you still had it in you. And of course I'll dip into the department's Good Samaritan fund to get you proper compensation for your work. For now, go home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly soon.
Good evening. I'm looking for Madame Laura Dupre.
This is Madame Dupre. I am her personal physician, Dr. Fellows. May we help you, officer?
I'm afraid I must place Madame Dupre under arrest.
What? On what charge?
Several, actually. Manslaughter, domestic violence, murder in the second degree. Shall I go on, or can we continue this at the police station?
You won't have to worry about Madame Dupre anymore. She'll be in jail for a very long time. And Mr. Martin has been released with a full pardon as well.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. I appreciate your help and your trust.
Think nothing of it, but you'll need to leave town as soon as you can. Have you made plans?
I was thinking of heading south. New Bretagne is too cold and dark. I want to find someplace more like my home.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Dumas. Addie, I'm home. Addie?
She must still be out at her hairdressing appointment. I'm glad we're alone because I wanted to talk to you about something.
Yes, Bill, I know. I told you I'm doing my best to try and find the flower shop burglar.
No, for once, this isn't about him. This is about you.
Alright, so we've already seen what happens after this. I hope you enjoyed this alternate ending of doing things the right way, and I promise in the future if I screw up another case, I will do the exact same thing and show you how things should have gone. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this, please hit like, subscribe to the channel, spread the word, and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this playthrough of Lamplight City. My name is Darwin. I will see you on the flip side.